Hey everyone, I'm OC Trinity, but you can call me Tom. That's my real name. And if you know me in real life, you probably also know that lately my passion's been more towards board games. So today I'm testing a pilot for a new board game related video series called Major League Board Gaming. My pitch is simple. Some friends and I are going to play through various board games, start to finish, but the video is going to be presented as though it's this big, serious, sports-like event, complete with score displays, color commentary, and similar stuff. But since I'm still in the process of getting friends in a set together, I'm going to be doing a proof of concept video using an online implementation of Carcassonne with myself as the commentator. I think that's about all the explanation you're going to need up front, so let's join our players at the table now. Alright, game has started. Looks like Red is making no hesitations here, just putting a tile on the board, scoring an easy 4 points. So if you haven't seen this game before, the rules are pretty simple. They're going to be placing tiles on the board and then optionally throwing one of their meeples on one of the features there. And once that feature actually finishes, like in the case of the cities, the entire city needs to be surrounded. In the case of the roads, we need to have just a start and an end point to it. Then they can pick up that meeple and score for it. So here you're going to see the green player places a what looks like a large city. Are they placing a meeple on that? Yes, they are. So each city is going to be worth 2 points per tile, 4 if it has that shield symbol, which this one does. All right, black is going on the other end of the board, also creating or starting a city. Yellow looks like they've got a road, looks like a T-shaped intersection. And yeah, that looks like a good place for it. Are they gonna? Yeah, they're gonna go right for easy finish. That road's already finished for an easy 3 points. All right, back to red. They have a just straight road. Looks like they've got an easy chance to at least start it. They're not going to be able to finish it in one shot for those easy points again. No. All right, there it goes. And most likely we're going to have a meeple on that road acting as... Oh, no, not on the road. They're instead putting it down as a farmer. That's a bit of a risky move, but I think they can get away with it. That farmer's not going to finish up until the very end of the game, where it's going to score 3 points per city bounded by that field. But they've got a lot of time to expand that. All right, green... both expands a city and starts a new one. So does black. Yellow looks like they're getting in on the city game now. All right. Red has a tile that looks like it's got three borders of it have a city. So most likely that's going to be starting a new one. Oh no, they're actually going to help expand greens instead. Not sure if they just didn't see a better opportunity or if they were just trying to hope that green just has a harder time finishing that. But honestly, with that little road jutting out from that left side, it might be hard enough as it is. Now, green has a monastery piece coming up here. Those monasteries don't finish until they're surrounded on all 8 sides, but they'll score 1 point per completed side. So that's... this early in the game, that's going to be pretty helpful. They're just throwing it off on its own. It's already half completed, so that looks like a good choice. All right, black is going to finish a city with that, putting them into the lead with 6. Of course, this early in the game, it's anybody's game right now. Yellow's expanding on a road, which is currently going to be sitting at 3 points. Probably going to be closer to 6 or 7 when that actually finishes, though. So they're already in a good spot. Now, what's red going to do here? They've got a bit of an unusual piece. It's a city on one side and an L-shaped road on others. So there's a lot of potential with that. Alright, so that does help yellow, but red's still going to be able to start claiming a city with that. Does mean that they've kind of cut off where their farmer can go, but I think that was inevitable here, so probably not too much of a downside with that. All right, green seems to be going heavy on cities, but now they've got a piece that's not going to help them on either end of that. What would be a good space there? I'm thinking the very bottom doesn't really seem to interfere with anything that they already have in progress. Yeah, it looks like they're thinking the same thing. But they're actually not putting down a meeple there. Maybe I guess they're not thinking the road's going to turn out to be worth a lot of points. We'll see if that comes back later, but until it does, it's anybody's game with that. As a reminder, they can put down a meeple has to be on the tile they already placed, but it can't be on that feature if it's already been claimed by another player. So, looks like both black and yellow are trying to get some farmers out there. As the board stands right now, though, those are two separate fields, but it's just going to take that one spot right below Green's Monastery to change that, in which case they'll be splitting, or not splitting, but both getting the points for that. Unless, of course, another player has more meeples on that. So now it looks like red's going to be probably making an attempt on that same field. I'm wondering if green's going to do the same thing, and they are. So this could turn into a game where it's going to just... whoever can get the majority on that one central field may end up scoring the bulk of the points during the post-game. Now, there's still a lot of tiles left. The game doesn't end until all the tiles have been used, and right now I see 49 are left, so still a lot of time left. I mean, mathematically speaking, that means we're going to get about 12 more turns per player. Quite a bit. All right, now black goes in on a road here. Might have a little trouble finishing that. They're going to need some specific pieces on the right side of that, though. Yellow places a road tile just to get it over with. Red's got another monastery, but it does connect on a road. So this might actually be a chance for them to expand their field with everything else, but no, they're going for what's already easily surrounded. I mean, they've only got to get 2 more tiles to finish that. Green's going to try to help finish out theirs, but in the process, they are finishing yellow's road, scoring them 7 points. Not sure if that was what they were going for or not, but I think they can probably afford to do that. Now, see that also does turn that big central field into one. Yellow and black are currently splitting. Actually, red's going to be splitting that too with that one they placed way at the beginning. Yellow's expanding a city again. That's kind of a rare piece, but it's going to be harder to finish, but worth a lot of points if they can. Or no, that was black that placed that. My fault. So that's probably to try and make it more difficult for yellow to even finish that. If the city's not finished at the end of the game, it's only going to score half credit. Yellow, meanwhile, it looks like they're trying to make green's city a little more difficult. I mean, that can be finished, but it's going to require some very specific pieces to do so. So there's only a handful that have both cities and roads on them, especially in that particular configuration. Now, red's got a straightaway piece. They're putting that directly next to their monastery and going to start a highwayman there. I mean, it's already finished on one side. They just need to finish on the other to score it. Green, meanwhile, is... yeah, I like that play. They're going to be not only increasing the value of their monastery, but also directly getting some competition on that central field now that that green farmer is considered part of it. Now, black here has a chance to finish their city. They're holding a piece that's 2 separate cities and sort of in L configuration. So they can place it. Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking. And if they place one on that south end, they're not only scoring, but they're getting a chance to score again later. So yellow and black currently in the lead at 10 points apiece. Red having a distant third at 4. Green has yet to score anything, but they're already in a place to finish a lot right now, so let's not count anybody out yet. So yellow has a new monk with their monastery in the corner. So here, red's got a good chance to increase the length of their road, but there might be other places where they can do something with. Yeah, that's another good one, finishing up their city. Do they want to put a guy on that road too? He seems to be thinking hard about that. Okay, ultimately decides to pass on the road there, but does score 6 points, now making this a 3-way tie for first place. Game is only about halfway done, though, so let's not count anybody out. All things considered, I think everyone's still in a good position to still end up on top, though. Green has an easy chance to make their cities bigger. But they decide, no, let's start a new one. They're going to try and impede on yellow's progress and maybe take some of the points from them or share them. Remember from before, if yellow and green both have the same number of meeples on that feature, they're both going to score the full points for it. So what green would want to do here is just get anything that makes those two cities into one. Piece just like the one black had got there would have done the job nicely. Actually, yellow has a chance to do that right here too. It's probably not in their interest to actually do that, though. If for no other reason, I would think green has more to gain from that. And yes, yellow apparently decides they're better off elsewhere too, starting a new city. Now, red's got an interesting piece here. It's a city on one side and a T-shaped intersecting road on the other. But right now, they don't have a lot of, they don't have any guys on cities here. So this might be a chance to create a new one. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Or, no, maybe not. That's also a chance to score 3 points on the road, but they've decided no. Red decides no, I'd rather have that city. Now, green gets what looks like might be the piece they need to still be able to make progress on that city on the north end. And they're definitely taking that. And yeah, they're going to put a guy on the road for good measure. That shouldn't be too hard for them to finish up with. Green might want to consider that they've only got one meeple left to actually place, though. I'd hate to see them in a position where they cannot score any additional points without finishing something already on the board. Late in the game, it might be hard for them to finish some of their things, but I don't think they're in that much of a predicament right now. Black, meanwhile, is holding the same piece green probably once just to finish that road. Most likely, I'm guessing black would use that just to expand their own road. Over in the south corner there. I mean, they could certainly start a new road entirely, but I don't see too many good opportunities that are only going to score 2 points as the board stands. Yep, so there, black is going to put it down. They are doing so in a way that lets that red monastery score, though. So red now has the lead with 19 points. Sizable difference between them and the second place value, currently shared by both black and yellow. Yellow, meanwhile, places a city, expands their own, makes green's a little bit harder. Green is not having a lot of luck being able to finish their cities right now, so that's going to be tough for them. Red seems to keep drawing more road tiles, though. Not sure if that's what they would want here. They are fortunately in a position where there's at least a few empty roads so they don't have to completely start one, or, maybe they can place it off on the edge somewhere trying to even further get the majority on that field. They do have some options here. Okay, there's the play. And, yeah, that's not going to do too much yet, but given the circumstances, I'm not sure. I couldn't see a better play either. Green, meanwhile, looks like exactly what they need there, finishing up the city, finally getting themselves on the board with a sizable 8 points. Catching up. But now I see a road on the northeast corner there that's already finished on one side, has 2 points on it already. And yellow has the perfect tile to add to that. Is that what they're going to do? Or no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong turn. We got black making that decision. And black already has a road currently in progress. One they can expand to without helping anybody else directly, at least. Okay, and yeah, in the end they decide they're going to just make that road worth even more. It's currently sitting at 5 points. Roads just score 1 point per tile. Yellow now has another monastery right next to their other one. That's going to be pretty good for them if they're going to be able to place those last two city tiles, because that's going to score on both of them. They're already sitting on one of them, so they're going to be able to get a lot of points just on a single tile placement there. Red, meanwhile, looks like they're poised to claim another city, another 2-tile city for 4 points, expanding their lead. Green gets what they need to expand into yellow's territory, so now they are both going to be scoring for that same tile. That also means, though, that red farmer is now considered to be in the same field as everything else, which means unless there's a farmer I am not looking at, red currently has the majority on that entire field in the center. It looks like black recognizes that and wants to do something about it. It's not going to be too hard for black to just place one more tile just to get theirs on there as well. It'll be 2 farmers apiece. Yellow, meanwhile, gets pretty much what they're looking for. It's not going to finish anything, but they expand the city and feed into 2 separate monasteries. So right now that looks like it's at least a 4-point gain. Unfortunately, it's still in that same field, so can't place anything there. Red now has what looks like the crossroads tile. They're placing that. Probably going to score an yeah, there it is. The easy 3 points on the road. Red just keeps on expanding their lead. Green, meanwhile, gets what they need to finish their road. Possibly 2 roads, actually. Yep, so they're going to score 4 points on that road to the right, then another 2 points for that road they're instantly finishing on the left, putting them into second place, but not by too much yet. Black, meanwhile, has a chance to finish up one of their own cities, or just start a new one. Unfortunately, there's only a few good places where that can actually go that are going to be helpful because of those roads. Though because of that, that means they might also be able to finish up the road they started earlier in the game too. Black really taking their time here. So while they're making a decision, let's look at that big field in the center here. Oh, never mind. Let's get back with current progress. Oh, but Black is not only finishing a city, but they're going to try and, again, help claim majority on that big field. That one might be a little bit harder for them to get included with everybody else, though. It feels like they're going to either need one specific tile or multiple to wrap around. Yellow, meanwhile, starts yet another monastery. One that I don't, to be honest, at this point of the game, I do not think that one's going to finish, but they're still going to be able to score some partial credit on that. Yellow, meanwhile, is down to 1 meeple left to place, so they should be very careful on what kind of project they decide they want to start next. So let's look at what Red's doing here. They have a tile that's the T intersection on the road plus a city on that one edge left. But they have no cities currently available. There are cities that are in progress yet haven't been claimed, though. I see one, and apparently so does Red. So that's going to be another easy 4 points. I might want to point out this is why it's going to be helpful just for someone to keep some meeples around, just to have a reserve to get those easy 2 to 4 point plays. Green, meanwhile, has increased the size of the city they're sharing with Yellow, and they're placing a farmer. Apparently they recognize, I might need this later to try and get some other points, but if they don't do that, that farmer is not going to be too helpful right now. Farmers only will they're only going to score on completed cities, and currently that one's still in progress. Black, meanwhile, starts a new city while expanding their road. Nicely done. Yellow does the same, places a farmer. Again, that's going to require at least 2 tiles just to get in with everybody else, unless they plan on just keeping that separate. Though, again, it's not going to score. Yellow's also completely bankrupted themselves of more meeples, so they cannot place anything more until they have finished something already in progress. Red, meanwhile, is going in on farmers, too. It looks like this is going to be a game where whoever manages to get control of that big field in the middle will probably end up winning. Though Red might be far enough ahead with everything else that they might not have to worry about that as much. We will see. There's 14 tiles left. Everybody's going to get 3, maybe 4 more turns. So now it becomes decision time here. Green has a monastery. So they're probably going to be looking for tiles that have a lot of others already surrounding them. Alternatively, though, most of those available look like they would have helped out other players with trying to claim that big field in the middle. Black places a road with the intention of trying to, again, claim that big central field. Now, right now, that field has, I'm counting 5 cities here that are completed. So as the board stands right now, that field's going to be worth 15 points. Definitely enough to jump into the lead if they can finish that up, and if other cities are finished, that's going to just add to that, or if the field just expands into other territory. As long as there's one wall surrounding that field, that's going to be enough. Now, meanwhile, it looks like Red's starting a new city. Green continues expanding on theirs. Looks like they're actually working together with Yellow. They both want the points on that, but that is going to be worth a lot if finished. As it stands right now, I believe that's going to be worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 points, so definitely worth finishing, but only going to be half credit if they can't pull it off. Black, meanwhile, places a city, scores an easy 4 points. Yellow has no choice but just to place something and hope for the best because they've run out of meeples to place. Looking at the rest of the board, trying to figure out if they could have picked up a meeple in that process, but I don't think they could have. Red places with the intention of starting to get in on that field with everybody else. Right now, they're just sharing it with that one black meeple. But that field currently scores 6 points, so still not a bad choice. And green, I'm not sure if I like that play, actually. They're probably just trying to get it on the road. Oh, and they're finishing their monastery. I totally missed that. So that makes sense, but at the same time, they're just getting red and black in on that same field. So now, yeah, that field, that's all become one field. Everybody's going to be competing for majority on that. Black, meanwhile, is trying to cash in on some of Yellow's hard-earned points. Yellow, meanwhile, manages to pick up one of their meeples for 9. Black has run out of their own, though, so they're going to have to hope they can finish something soon, but they look like they've got enough else on the board that shouldn't be too hard. Red's got a corner city. Easy chance to just expand on one of their own cities, which is what they do. But now they're debating if they want to try and place yet another meeple, and they decide it's worth it. They're most likely only going to get one more play after this, though. The stack is almost out. There's 2 left, but they are holding one already. So presuming that tile is placeable, they will get one last chance. Green places a tile just to start on a road, it looks like. Decides not to place on there. I'm not sure why. I don't think that would have been any penalty to them. Black, meanwhile, finishes up. No, that's not going to finish the road, but it's certainly going to add to it. And actually, yeah, given the circumstances, there's not much else they could have really done with that. Yellow is going to go in on another field. Right now, that only scores 3 points, but I don't think there's anything else they really could have done with that. They're not on any roads either. All right, Red's last play here. And I don't think that tile will help them in the slightest. Because it's not usable in the city they already have because it's going to interfere with the road already there. So most likely a dead play, so I'm assuming red is just looking for any place that doesn't help anybody else, and that will certainly qualify. Green, meanwhile, has yet another highway piece, so they're probably looking for somewhere that already has a decent amount of road already attached to it. Actually chooses not to place there either. I'm still puzzled on that. Maybe just a rookie mistake. I don't know. All right, Black's last play coming up here. Where they're just going to be looking for somewhere to either add to a city or a road. And at the very last second, they're finishing that road for 10 points. All right, so now the game is over. Now we're just scoring final points here. Now, roads are still going to score 1 point per tile. And they're actually doing fairly well. And that cities are also only going to score 1 point per tile, which is half what they're usually worth. Monasteries are going to score 1 point as well, so here it's mostly just a matter of just looking for all those partial completions. Cities are ones that are really going to be only giving half credit here. So in a minute we're going to look at that big field in the middle. Looks like both black and red both got the majority on that. Black had an extra meeple elsewhere, and that's going to be just enough for them to claim victory. Just a 1 point difference. Just goes to show this can be anybody's game here. So now let's throw up a graphic of how all the teams have done so far this season, or at least in theory. But as far as the proof of concept goes, you got everything there. Of course, the final version is going to have some more streamlined graphics, and obviously it's some live action on the game. We're going to be seeing the players and a physical copy of the game all in progress. But I think other than that, you know what to expect now. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and hopefully soon enough, you'll see the real thing soon.